Like a lot of you, I called the number for Boothworld Industries. Before I called, I read through the responses in the thread. I like knowing what's going to happen before it happens. I guess I'm just kind of boring like that. It was still a sick thrill to dial the number and hit call, even though I knew what was coming. I was on the home phone and I had to make sure to block my info, just in case. Something did go wrong though. You all got a voicemail. I got a live person.
Welcome to Boothworld Industries. My name is Samantha, and I will be your operator today. Name?
I froze at this point. I didn't know what to say. I expected a canned message like the rest of you got, maybe even a weird text. I never expected a real person to pick up. I panicked and hung up the phone. When it started ringing about 5 seconds later, I left the house to go pick up my daughter from school. On the way back, my cell phone started ringing. Ariana loves the hand-free phones in the car. She likes to pick it up and pretend she's on the intercom for a spaceship called the Clion. I blame my husband for frequenting Battlestar Galactica. "Mommy," she said, "can I push the button?" "Sure. Just make it fast before the light changes, though." Ariana unbuckled her seatbelt, reached up between the two seats, and hit the button that would pick up the phone. "Hello?" she said. She waited for the beep to let you know the phone had picked up. I heard the voice from the other end. Flat. Almost robotic.
Welcome to Boothworld Industries. My name is Samantha. I will be your operator today. Name?
Everything stopped for me then. The light turned green, cars drove by, the cars behind me honked, but I sat there, staring at my wheel. Nosleep was supposed to be a place for scary stories. A place where you can scare yourself a little bit but be fine at the end. A place where you live out your fears. There was nothing safe about this woman's voice on the other end of the phone. "Mommy," she said, "is everything okay?"
Hello, Ariana.
The operator said.
Welcome to Boothworld Industries. My name is Samantha, and I will be your operator today. Name?
"Ariana," my daughter said. "Ariana, stop," I replied.
Miss Jacobs, the woman said. Please call the office when you get home. We have some remodeling to schedule.
I didn't answer. I hung up the phone and drove the rest of the way home. Ariana looked up at me as we walked up the driveway. "Was that a Clion?" I smiled, even though I felt like somebody had skewered my stomach to the concrete and was still writhing around in there. "No, honey. Clions aren't real." My little girl looked up at me. Her brow wrinkled and she frowned. That broke my heart. It was the first time I'd lied to her. Now, it wasn't the Clion on the other end of the line, but there was something lacking in that Boothworld Industry operator's voice. Something broken. Something human. Something dead. When we got inside, I made Ariana a bowl of cereal and took her to her room. I turned on SpongeBob for her to watch, and I knew what I had to do. I typed the Boothworld Industries number into my cell phone. 630-296-7536. Then when I brought the phone to my ear, somebody was breathing on the other end. I never even heard it ring. "Hello?" I said.
Welcome to Boothworld Industries. My name is Samantha. I'll be your operator today. Name?
My mouth went dry. I knew what I was supposed to do. "Janice Hoffman," I said. Now, Janice was my boss at work. Although her voice reminded me of Fran Drescher, her constant exploring hands reminded me of a sleazy boss from Disclosure. On the other end of the phone, I could hear Samantha pounding on a keyboard, like she was wearing one of those cordless headsets and slammed her face down into the keys.
Janice Hoffman, she said. Remodeling is scheduled for January 14th, 2022. Would you like to reschedule?
"Yes," I said.
We have an opening Monday.
"That's fine."
Would you like a courtesy call?
I wanted nothing to do with listening to somebody die. "No, thank you," I said.
Are you sure, Mrs. Jacobs?
"Yes."
Alright, on Monday the 13th, we have Janice Hoffman scheduled for remodeling.
"Fine."
Mrs. Jacobs?
"Yes?"
How would you like to pay for this?
What the hell was she talking about? The original story never mentioned anything about payment. Pay? I asked.
Yes, Miss Jacobs. When you schedule remodeling, the scheduling is final unless the other member shifts the scheduled date. We expect payment in full before the services is rendered.
What's the price?
Ariana.
The name hung in the air. Ariana? I whispered. What do you mean?
The price for the scheduled remodeling is your daughter, Ariana. If you do not pay, we have no choice but to repossess what is due.
My blood ran cold when she said, repossess. I could hear her smiling on the other end of the phone. The first fragment of emotion she had shown. What's the difference between a payment and a repossession? I asked, closing my eyes.
You can earn any payment back, or parts of it at least, referring to new members. Unfortunately, all repossessions are final.
Why? Why are you doing this?
Ma'am, you responded to our ad on nosleep and called us. You contracted work on Janice Hoffman. Now we're at the payment stage. The cost of the work is your daughter, Ariana.
No, you can't have her.
Wonderful. The repossession is scheduled then. We here at Boothworld Industries would like to say thank you and welcome to the club. You have a marvelous day.
I jumped when the phone clicked. I took it away from my head and stared at it. If I hadn't felt like I was going to throw up and cry at the same time, I would have laughed. Everything was crazy. I was crazy. I stared at my cell phone's display. The Boothworld Industry number was still on the screen. I ran to Ariana's room. It was empty. The bowl of cereal sat there on the towel that I always put under anything in case she spilled it. Sitting on the towel was a business card. I took a picture because I thought I was going crazy and I thought that the card wouldn't be there if I blinked. When I picked the card up, it was warm, baking with a wet kind of heat. My skin crawled and I threw it down. It landed backside up in the bowl. I heard a roar outside and made it out just in time to see a black Chevelle SS roll around the corner. I called the police and they sent on an officer to take down all my info. An Amber Alert was issued and the waiting began. I felt so desperate, so I visited r/Boothworld. It was a private subreddit. I got a call a few hours later. It was from a 917 area code. Hello? I asked, even though I already knew who would be on the other end.
Ma'am, this is Samantha from Boothworld Industries. Your courtesy call begins now.
I hung up. My cell phone started ringing again. The caller ID read an 832 area code. I didn't answer. I pulled my jacket from the wall and sat down with my face in my hands. I couldn't bring myself to think of what was happening. I sat there, and I cried, feeling completely hopeless. That's when the phone started ringing again. My cell buzzed across the table, away from its battery, unplugged, and it rang louder and louder than it ever had before. I got in my car and I left. I went to Walmart and used a payphone to contact the detective in charge of Ariana's case. His name was Stark. After waiting on hold for a while, he picked up.
Miss Jacobs?
He said. Have you found her? I asked.
No, but we traced the number to a cell phone that was from some kid a block over from where you live. He said that he never made the call, but the carrier says otherwise. The kid said he called the number for just a second. Here it is, hold on. Boothworld Industries, on a site called Reddit.
Reddit, I corrected.
That's what I said. There's no record of a Boothworld Industries anywhere. We're holding the kid now and we'll let you know if anything happens, okay?
Is that all? I asked. I just want my daughter back.
Yes, ma'am. It's best if you leave it to us, okay?
Alright.
Good.
Stark said.
We at the police department would like to say thank you, and you're welcome to call if you need anything. I'm sure that we'll be in touch soon. You have a marvelous day.
I hung up the phone and it started ringing again immediately. I picked it up, stupidly hoping it was Stark with some kind of new info. It wasn't. A male's voice growled in my ear.
The scheduled work has been completed. We here at Boothworld Industries would like to say thank you and welcome to the club. Boothworld is now open. Have a marvelous day.
The line dropped and I hung up the phone. I brought up my hand to my ear. It was warm, like from his breath. Edit. I made a mistake. Everything's fine. We here at the Jacobs household want to say thank you, and you have a marvelous day. I would like to give a big thank you to all the lovely patrons currently on screen right now. Dan R, Neophyte Games, Chaos X, JY, Pyromancer, Hayden MH, Ethan A, Daniel H, Maximilian Charles P, Go Cute Puppy LLC, Young Sykes, Dark Side of the Bear, Revenik Paul T, and Mr. Swiston. Guys, thank you all so much.